Today we're talking about something a little controversial when it comes to PA school applications that is new for this cycle. Hey guys, Savannah Perry from the PA platform here, and I want to talk about something I've been seeing popping up this cycle that's a little bit different from cycles in the past, at least to my knowledge. So for PA school, all of the applications are done through CASPA, the universal application. And you may know this, if you've applied before, you're familiar. In the past, schools have not necessarily been able to see information about where applicants are applying. And that's still true, but it's also still not true. One of the questions that I get asked about almost every year for the last 10 years, as someone who helps pre-PAs with the application process of the PA platform, I get asked about what can schools see, what do they know about where I'm applying? Oftentimes schools will ask at an interview, have you applied elsewhere? I was asked this at my PA school interviews. I answered honestly, which was yes. My goal was to become a PA, and so for that purpose, I did apply to multiple schools. I did get into my first choice, and I told them it was my first choice. I said, yes, I've applied elsewhere. I want to be a PA, but I want to go here, and this is why. But I was honest about it because realistically, they know that you're probably applying other places. And some programs may see it as you're putting all your eggs in one basket, or maybe that you're a little bit cocky and think that you're such a great applicant if you only apply to one school. Now, I do realize there are situations where you can only apply to one school. You can't move, you can't relocate. The hybrid or online options are a bit limited. So I get that, but generally speaking, most people are applying to multiple schools. In general, a person who matriculates into PA school on average applies to 6 programs. So yeah, they know that. But schools do want people who are interested in their programs and want to actually attend there. So I saw this Facebook post of someone who said they were admitted into a program, they're accepted, but that school said, in order to pay your deposit and secure your spot, you need to give up all other acceptances at other programs. This was my first time hearing of this in 10 years. I've never heard of anything like that. I don't really know the rules behind that, or if schools can do that, or which schools these were. I would love more info on that. If you have it, feel free to email me. But that tells us a couple things. That tells us that the schools can potentially see that you've applied elsewhere. And my question was, can they see where? Can they see how many programs? What information can they see? So I went straight to the source. I went to some colleagues who are in PA school admissions and said, hey, what's going on? Is this true? Can people see where people have applied or how many schools or what's going on? And I got some information, which is schools can see if you have accepted an offer elsewhere. They cannot see where, they can't see how many programs, they don't know how many you've applied to, but if you have an acceptance somewhere else, once they accept you, they can see that. So that's interesting. That means that they can't necessarily not accept you because of that, because they don't have that information before they accept you. So they have to accept you to see that. But this new concept of you have to give up your acceptance to take a spot here is new territory for me. And I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. I would love to hear how y'all feel about it. Traditionally, people will have multiple acceptances, and if they do, sometimes they'll have deposits at different programs while they're deciding which program is the best fit, which location is the best fit, what makes sense. And so that's not a new concept. The new part is the fact that other schools may ask you to give that up. Now, if you do put a deposit down at multiple programs, you're usually losing one of those deposits if you choose to go somewhere else. And that does take a spot from someone. So my advice has always been decide as soon as you can. If you know that you're not going to a program, go ahead and let them know so that they can fill that spot. That's what helps with schools accreditation, but also so that other people applying have as much of a chance as possible to make their dreams come true. So we're helping each other out in this situation by just making decisions. There are a lot of factors, a lot of things at play. So the things we know from this information about CASPA is that when you apply to schools, they cannot see where else you've applied or how many schools you've applied to. If a school accepts you, they can see that you have accepted an offer from another program. Basically what it tells them is that applicants have accepted offers from competing programs. Now, why would schools want this information? Or why does it matter to them if you have applied elsewhere? Sometimes schools will ask because they truly just want to make their program better. They want to understand why you choose a different program or why you applied to different programs, what you're looking for, what other places have that they may not. So part of it's information gathering, and the other part of it is making sure they have full classes that are dedicated to that program. So yeah, I saw this popping up a few times in comments and questions, and I just wasn't sure about it. And so I got more information and I wanted to share that with you guys to make sure that we're all up to date. I'm gonna have to go back through the CASPA FAQ as well. I read that pretty frequently and see if it clarifies there that schools have that information now. If you want to stay up to date with everything to do with CASPA and PA school applications, make sure you're following the PA platform and we will let you know stuff as soon as we find it out. You can also follow on Mapped, and if you sign up for Mapped, it is a place to keep all of your pre-health information to make applications easier. And that's a great place to be for any updates and to make sure you're not missing out on this type of information. All of that info is in the description, and if you have any experience with this, with schools and how they've asked about other schools or found out about other schools, please leave it in the comments and we can have a discussion there as well. Share, subscribe, help get the word out about the PA platform and this channel to other pre-PAs. I appreciate it so much. I appreciate you being here, and please let me know what you want to cover in the next video. See you guys there.